physical when I'm lyrical. So bat it down with medical, something critical. It's gonna take a miracle. Bright lights for some spiritual, written down like biblical. I finally reached the pinnacle. Yeah. Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the boxing PlayHouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.
Welcome. This is Sakura A and Emilio Santana, and this is After Dark. Actually, no, I'm wrong. This is Ladies Night edition. And it's been a minute since we did a ladies' night, so we're so happy to have our special guest, Rachel Charles, with us tonight. For right now, though, you know, all the talk has got to be on our amazing fight weekend last weekend. And, you know, we're going to just go ahead and, you know, jump into everything and just do this whole recap on, of course, the man of the hour, Crawford. That's right, Bud Crawford. You know, basically pretty much breaks down Spence. Emilio?
I'm still shocked. You know, I actually, you know, picked around and everything that the fight ended, but the way it ended, you know, and leading up to the ending, you know, I couldn't have predicted it because the fight ended up being one-sided. You know, I know a lot of people didn't expect the fight to play out the way it did. We thought we was going to get a competitive fight, maybe a back and forth type fight, you know, splitting rounds. But man, it was far from that. And Crawford, you know, he established himself as, you know, with the greats. You know, the performance he put on, man, he was spectacular. You know, shout out to Bud Crawford, you know, the new undisputed welterweight champion, a two-time undisputed champion, did it in the lightweight division. So, man, Bud, I'm very impressed with Bud Crawford. You know, it was a shocker. You know, big fight. It was a shocker. I'm glad they finally made the fight happen, but there's a lot of concerns about Errol Spence, man. You know, so many things have been put out there, you know, different rumors and speculations, but, you know, we just hope that Earl is, you know, fine and, you know, and whatever he does, we just hope he, you know, he's well. To spend time, you know, most importantly, to spend time with his family and his beautiful kids. So, but man, it was a shocker for me.
Well, definitely. And we got to shout out Chucky. What's up? That's my man up north. Okay, in the New England area. And he says, hi, Sakura and Emilio. And hi to you too, Chuck. I definitely got to still return his phone call. But this man, Chuck, has like amazing stories. He's got like so many like boxing stories from boxing's heyday, you know.
That's what I
mean, he was a photographer back in the Tommy Hearns days. He was always at the Crunk Gym. Yeah, he was at the Crunk Gym a lot in Detroit.
Wow.
Traveling, and he just has an amazing story. So I'm hoping that we can get him on one night to talk about his career in boxing and, you know, the things that he's been able to enjoy in his lifetime that others can only dream and wish of being able to do. And then we got Rob, our UK British boy. He's in the house tonight.
Rob, what's happening?
What's up? And guess what? He told me it's 1 a.m. there right now. So
1 a.m.
1 a.m. He's staying up till 1 a.m. to show us support.
You,
I mean, what can you say?
That's some real support right there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And we truly appreciate it.
One love, Rob.
Yes, for sure. Now we're gonna get to this speech. Like he said, British boy in the house.
How do you feel about the fight, Miss Sakura A?
I mean, you know, my thing, well, first of all, let's get into Crawford's performance, because I don't really want to diminish or take away from his win by talking about Spence's, you know, possible reasons why he didn't perform well.
Right.
I mean, the point is that he dominantly, Spence was dominantly able to win this fight. He left no doubt as to who was the better man.
Right.
And like I said before, I really didn't like to talk about classic. It's going to be a classic like the Four Kings, like, Hearns and Leonard and all this. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it in my mind, but also I know when it comes to the greats, like you can't compare two eras that are totally different now.
Right.
Those guys just fought way more. They were in top shape. They barely had a fight that was considered a tune-up. They would be fighting fighters back to back that were all A fighters, prize fighters. So that's one thing. Then two, it's always like you can only be as good as your opponents allow you to be. So both of them, Spence and Crawford, we didn't know what we couldn't see. We had never seen them against someone that was supposed to be as formidable as the other one.
Right.
So you never could tell what was going to actually be the outcome. So that's one thing. But once I was surprised, but not surprised that Bud broke him down. I was surprised at when it began to be broken down. Like I was expecting all the action to be towards the end of the fight, and instead it was not. It was like second round, a drop, and from then on, Bud's quicker jab, getting off first, using that southpaw stance against a southpaw, like using all the tools that Bud used, and it was like everything that Spence was supposed to be dominant at, all his weapons of choice were used against him. So I don't know if that was a concerted effort by Bud's team, like, hey, we're gonna just use what he uses to try to use against other people. We're gonna take that away from him and then we're gonna use it.
Right.
So I don't know if that was that was a strategy beforehand, but oh my goodness, like those were some quick hands that Bud seemed to have in that fight. The other thing that disappointed me is the fans afterwards. Like we keep talking about, we want fans to fight the best. We want boxers to fight the best. We want them to do the best. We want them to go out on their shield. And when a boxer does step up and do that, what do? The very next day, we're making memes of him being Martin, in Martin Lawrence show. We're talking about, the big fish, how it was called, and we're like showing him being defeated in so many, bad ways. We're talking shit about his performance, and he ain't shit because he didn't come prepared, and all this kind of things that I'm hearing online. And and then they wonder why boxers don't want to step up and fight someone of equal talent, because when you lose, they're going to automatically say, oh, wait a minute, this was all his fault, and he actually wasn't as good as we thought he was, and this was wrong and that was wrong. Then they came after his trainer, Derek James, as well, which I also didn't agree with. I mean, to me, a coach knows his boxer. He knows what his boxer can do. He know what his limitations are. He know what he flourishes in. Right. So once he had already told Bud what to do that he knew he was good at, and he wasn't able to execute that, what do you expect the trainer to do? Like, you can tell somebody a million times to move laterally and do this and that, but if you know in your heart that your boxer is not that guy, you're just wasting your breath.
It's been so many fingers pointed at Derek James this week, all the way down to even the hand wraps. The controversy with Bud wrapping his own hands and
right
with the tape and everything. That's another controversy. Man, you know what? This fight kind of reminded me on paper. It kind of reminded me of the Andre Ward and Chad Dawson, how that fight on paper looked like it was going to be competitive, and then it ended up being one-sided.
Okay.
And then I even thought about like when Foreman and Frazier fought the first time. That fight on paper, it looked like it was a 50-50 fight. Frazier had just beat Muhammad Ali, and I think he might have even been the favorite. It might have been 50-50, and then how it was so one-sided with George Foreman just destroying Frazier.
Right.
So it kind of made me think about this fight, how it was 50-50 on paper, but it turned out to be one-sided because of styles make fights.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know if Earl Spence style is kind of tailor-made for Bud. A rematch, that's another question. Do we want to see a rematch? How would the rematch play out? Should Earl take some time off, maybe a tune-up?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of decisions got to be made in, Earl Spence's camp. So you don't want to come back right away, man, and you know to the same situation. You're gonna have to make some major adjustments, come up with a plan B and C and D if you have to, because man, that Terrence Crawford, Terrence Crawford is something special. So man, I hope Earl Spence make the right decision, the right adjustments, before he get back in that ring. I know he wants some get back, because of the way it played out, man, and all this, like you said, the memes, the talking, even had Louis Farrakhan even talking about it in the service. So man, it's got to be tough for Earl Spence. So hopefully the young man could regroup, maybe come back and be better next time. I don't know if we're gonna win, but maybe he can be better.
Right. I mean, and like Rob is saying here, he hates all of the dissing. Two great fighters met and and the outcome was what it was.
Right.
Doesn't make Spence any less of a boxer.
Not at all.
He just met his match is all.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And we've seen rematches where guys come back, man, and do a total different fight, like Floyd Patterson. I remember Ingemar Johansson whooped Floyd Patterson, and then Floyd Patterson came back in a rematch and knocked him out, had his foot twitching, So it's been rematches where a guy do a 360. I don't know if this be a situation like that, but I have seen fighters make some major adjustments and turn a whole fight around. So
that's an interesting point. I mean, I'm glad you gave an example, but Danny's on the money here. He's like, he needs to take off and recalibrate things.
Right.
So how long was, this Patterson situation? How long was in between them two fights, if you can recall?
Those guys fought 3 times. I don't think it was a whole lot of time in between, because those guys fought very often back then. You see Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta fought like 6 or 7 times. So those guys fought a lot. I don't think it was a long layoff. That's another thing I think hurt Earl Spence, the 19 months or whatever that he was off. And then his body, he's not known to really take care of himself like a Bud Crawford. Earl has been known to put on weight, drink, hang out, and Bud Crawford is a more guy that stays in the gym. He's home. He doesn't drink. So I think a lot of that plays a big part in a fight like this here.
Right. I mean, definitely time off is not on any boxer's side. It may have been on his side, dealing with the healing that they wanted him to undertake after, so many these traumatic things that were happening with the accidents and different things like that.
Yeah.
But I do have a pushback to those that, say it's because of his car accident, because he did look way better against Danny Garcia, which was after his accident. And it was no tune-up. Right. And Ugas, and it was no tune-up. So I'm not 100% on board with that. It's just the accident situation.
No,
that happened. I'm not because I don't feel like he could possibly have something else going on, but just because, just to say it was this accident when you've seen him perform afterwards in a stable way.
He beat 2 world champions after the accident, Danny Garcia and Ugas.
Right.
Ugas coming off, beating Manny Pacquiao for the welterweight title. So I don't think it's so much the accident, man. I just think sometimes a guy has your number. Bud came in there on point. His timing, everything. It was just Bud's night, So, like I was saying earlier, some guys can turn a fight around. Frazier got that rematch with Foreman, but it was basically the same thing, but prolonged a little longer. I think it went like 5 rounds. Frazier really didn't have too many adjustments or changes when he had that rematch with Foreman. So Earl gonna really have to, dig deep, man, and really come up with a good game plan if he want to get back in there with Terrence Crawford.
You know what? Coach Louis is in the house.
Louis, what's up?
And he is saying, I would love to see Spence rise with the team in his best interest. Okay, Louis, break it down, Coach. What do you mean with have Spence with the team that's got his best interest at heart? Because You know, I thought he was with a team that had his interests at heart.
Yeah, he got a
So
team that was trainer of the year, what, 2 or 3 years in a row, Derek James?
yes, I mean, when you say something like that, I'm thinking he's saying that he needs to be with a team that would have threw in a towel or something earlier or something like that. But I'm not sure, and I don't want to speculate. So, Coach Louis, let us know what you're talking about. And then Danny Santiago says Sugar Ray versus Durant, two.
Good example.
Total different strategy in part 2.
That's a good example, Danny, because Ray Leonard made some major adjustments. He didn't let Durant bully him or back him against the ropes.
What is this net?
He outsmarted Durant. He frustrated Durant. Leonard came, and it wasn't a long period. Leonard, you know, he came right at 5-6 months from June to November. Leonard got right back in there, and he let Durant party and put on all that weight. And Durant, you know, had to kill himself, I believe, to make weight. So Ray Leonard caught Durant kind of slipping, man, and, you know, celebrating that victory. And Leonard did. He came with a great game plan, used his feet, man, and he really frustrated Roberto Durant. Sorry, Dahlia, if you're watching, but Leonard, Leonard, he did his thing in that rematch. Yeah, definitely made some adjustments.
Well, we all know what was going on with Durant. He was celebrating and partying. It's not that on a different day. I believe if they'd have been a third fight, we would have still seen an entirely different fight.
You know what?
From the first two.
It was a different fight. They fought 9 years later in a kind of forgettable type fight.
I mean, Leonard and Durant, not that far apart, but I'm saying if there was 3 fights consecutive, we probably would have saw something too different.
That fight was way too late. You know, even though when Leonard and Hearns fought the rematch, it was 8 years later. But that fight really turned out to be maybe more entertaining than the first fight. The second fight with Leonard and Hearns was ended in a draw, but a lot of people felt Hearns, you know, beat Leonard in that fight.
Right, for sure. Let's see what Rob is saying. Our British boy, he says. Let's see.
Love you too, Roxy.
Oh, Roxy. What's up? Roxy's Kitchen in St. Petersburg, Florida. You can find us on our pages where you can order your food, and she will mobile deliver it to you.
Bring it to your door.
Yes.
Hot and fresh.
And delicious. All right. So Rob says it's worth another fight because it was one bad day in the office for Spence. It may be one-sided again, but he deserves another shot. They are the best boxers out there in that division. Okay, and division is a key word that we wanted to talk about, guys, because the division part is what division? If there was even a rematch, would we be able to say that it would be at welterweight now? Probably not. Both boxers have indicated that they don't think that they would want to do that they would be at 154.
That's another thing. People wondering if the weight will make a difference. That Earl was killing himself to make weight. Will he be stronger and better at 154? So that's another thing they're throwing out there. I don't know if the way to make a difference or not. We'll have to see how that play out.
Right. Well, look, Coach Louis chimed back in on exactly what he meant. He said, look at all the videos of his training on pads and mitt work. Okay. Well, you should know this yourself as a coach. What you show on videos is not necessarily what you're doing when them video cameras are off or their phones are off. Like you could be working on something entirely different.
I know Antonio Tara wasn't happy with the training methods. He had a lot to say on social media about the training and Derek James, but maybe Tara trying to put his bid in.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Tara's like, you need to come on over to my camp.
Let me teach you something, because Tara's a southpaw. He might could show Earl some things that he might need, because Tara said the footwork was off. He wasn't blocking, man. It was a lot of things off he was saying about Earl Spence, man. So.
Okay, but at what point is it not your trainer's fault that you're off like that? When is it you, the boxer's fault? Like, I just don't agree that you should say that that's all on a trainer. It's like one of those things where when boxers start losing and they want to go changing trainers, right? And it's not always them. Rob says, I I gotta get me some Roxy's Kitchen one day. All right, all right.
Rod,
Let
it
me
make you
see.
feel good too. After you eat it, you feel real good.
Yeah, he means sleep. He means, and by that, Rob, he means he's sleep in 10.5 seconds after eating.
We got some when we get done with the podcast. We got some Roxy Kitchen waiting on us right now.
Oh yes, and it's something that I know Rob can appreciate as a UKer. We got some beef curry and rice, coconut rice and peas.
Yeah.
I know you like it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see what else he says. Crawford done 3 weights, so it shouldn't be a problem for him.
Is it 2?
Oh, I thought it was 2. What 2
From
weights?
lightweight. He came from lightweight, right? Lightweight. Or did he
Oh,
start at junior
Crawford.
lightweight?
Crawford went from junior. Yeah,
Oh, he went from junior lightweight.
Junior lightweight to lightweight to 140 to welterweight now.
And now you got Tank calling Crawford out.
Oh Lord, let's talk about that in a minute. Let's see. We got Damon Gonzalez from Latin Sports in the house tonight. He says boxing PlayHouse is in the house. Damon, tell us, what about your predictions for the Spence Crawford fight?
Yeah, who you had, Damon?
Yes. And then Rob says it's always the boxer's fault. They in the action. They are in that ring by themselves. And Rob says Tank got no chance. Right, exactly. Tank might not have a chance, but at the same time, it's like you got plenty of lightweights to deal with. Like just deal with what you're in your wheelhouse. Kind of similar to Claressa Shields bringing up Thurman.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Rob, who you got key for Claressa?
Right. I mean, he's bringing up, he's bringing that up. But then, what we can say is, that there's a fight with Shadasia Green, this weekend that could be an amazing contender for a Claressa Shields fight.
People got to watch this young lady right here, man. I've seen her fight a couple fights and very impressed with this girl form and her power. So if you can check out this card, Jake Paul's card, Jake Paul and Nate Diaz headlining this card right here. But Shadasia Green is on the undercard with Amanda Serrano, right?
Yes, it's Amanda Serrano, and it's on Nate Diaz and Jake Paul's fight card.
Silva's on the card. Fighting the young prospect Sylvie. One of Jake Paul
versus Silver.
Yeah, the 19-year-old prospect Jake Paul got his fighting Silver.
Right.
But Shadasia Green, she's I think she's one to watch. She's gonna make a lot of noise, and she's on Claressa Shields' radar. And I think she might be the girl that's gonna be that dancing partner for Claressa Shields. So tune in this Saturday.
I mean,
the Zone pay-per-view.
Remember now, first she was Franchise Cruz.
Yeah.
That was her mandatory with the WBC. Then, of course, Marshall won a fight against her. So now she's Marshall's Savannah Marshall's number 1 contender. But she is just a stone away from a Claressa Shields showdown. But what makes Green exciting to me is like she does have power, and on top of it, she does display boxing knowledge, boxing skills. It's not just the power that you got to watch out with her. So it is a dangerous opponent.
Damon says Green is serious about her business. Definitely. I agree with that, Damon.
Yeah.
Definitely agree with that.
Rob says Green will blitz it. All right. And then Damon said, agree. Green can punch.
Definitely.
Right. And then, of course, just to say a few things about it. Yes, you're right. Amanda Serrano has to fight with Hardy on that card. And here's the Sylvie versus Silva fight that's coming up as well this weekend. They're fighting in Dallas, Texas. Yes. Amazing,
Texas.
amazing situation there. And then, of course, the main event Oh, sorry, my fan slipped. Let's see. The main event is
Jake
Jake Paul versus
Problem
Nate
Child.
Diaz. Let's go ahead. What we need to do is give our predictions for this main event fight
I haven't been
first.
seeing a whole lot of build up. I must be missing something. I expect a lot of trash talking. Maybe I ain't seeing them tuning into the right thing, but I expected to see a lot of, shoving in places and press conferences and chairs thrown. I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot. I don't know if I'm just not looking in the right places or what.
Well, I tell you, okay, so Nate Diaz, he does have some amateur boxing experience. And of course, people know him from the MMA over at UFC. He can take a lot of abuse. He's known to be in some tough fights and make it through the fight, at least.
Right.
Jake Paul, of course, that's a big bad boy right there. I mean, that's the type of fighter that, Diaz is having to gain weight to go up the cruiserweight to face him. So he's already an advantage, because you remember when we were standing by Jake Paul and he just like looked thick and massive and bone density looked really big
he has some
stuff.
size on him.
Yeah, like I just feel like this is going to be in Jake Paul's favor for another KO.
Yeah.
That's my prediction, guys. And then I see Damon said, I just think Paul just gonna look better than Diaz in that fight.
I think so too. I think Jake Paul is getting better and better. He got the right people with him, some real boxing trainers training him, sparring with some real people. I think he's serious about it. It'd be different if they was in the octagon, but they're in the boxing ring. So I'm gonna go with Jake Paul too.
Okay. And then Rob says Jake Paul be better as a promoter. He is not with it. He don't like the YouTubers getting into the boxing game.
Say the top.
Which
Manny? Damon at the top.
Oh, he said something about, fair to say, I watched Bud come up with Top Rank. I believe he was going to win, but how he won, I sure didn't see that coming. Hey. Okay, so that's he's saying what I was saying.
Hey, everybody felt like that.
Yeah,
Damon,
that was
right. Everybody felt like that, man. Because Earl Spence, I thought it was gonna be a tough fight, man. I did have Bud winning, but I didn't know it was gonna be that easy.
Yes, no one knew that it was gonna be that easy. I mean, I definitely didn't. Let's see. So also, Also, we did need to go back and talk about the Caleb Plant slap. But before we do that, I just want to mention that we are also going to have, I don't know why we have so many skeeters in here tonight. I just wanted to mention that
mimicking that slap.
I did see where we've got Cameron versus Taylor 2 coming November 25th. The rematch has already been scheduled, and it's the Zone, baby.
So much action this year here, man. This has been a great year for boxing.
Yes. And
great year.
The women, of course, are still like, they're bringing it. Like, that's what I love about it. Like, these women are bringing it so hard. You got Amanda Serrano this weekend versus Heather Hardy, which is a rematch. And if all goes well, Serrano versus Baumgartner, like, who the hell? I was not even thinking about that. Like, that was not on my radar. Was it on your radar?
No, it wasn't.
But they close. the weights are very close, So that just,
I want to see it all.
My mind is blown on that one, because that's a mega fight all day.
I want to see it all.
Yes, we got 2 undisputed champions, and so that's like, wow. I guess Alicia would have to go down and wait to meet Serrano, I'm thinking, but wow, like that wasn't even on my radar.
These ladies is really been getting excited, man, to watch the progress. These women winning these world titles, man, in the competition,
right?
It's really been a good year for boxing and women boxing all together.
Right. Okay, so Rob is basically saying that Paul isn't fighting, like top 10 fighters, and of course he wouldn't be because he's still considered a prospect.
Right.
I mean, even the top boys now, they at some point they was fighting and taking baby steps up to real fights.
But the thing I like about
competitive fights. I mean,
the thing I like about Jake Paul is, on his cards, he lets a lot of people shine, especially the women fighters.
Exactly.
He gives them a shine, and he got his own fighters, and so I really love what Jake Paul is doing, with the boxing, and he knows his skill level. He knows who to pick and and who not to pick.
Right.
So it's all a progression with him. I'm sure if he keep winning and his level of competition will probably step up. But it's just a progression thing with him, I believe.
Well, see, Rob likes that Katie Taylor part.
Oh, okay.
Chuck is wanting to know, who did Paul train with that was in Crump Gym? Is he with he's with a different trainer now, right? Since BJ Flores. I mean, BJ Flores had his incident.
Because he had Jay Leon Love was out of Michigan. I don't know.
Well, that's not his trainer though. That was like his sparring camp.
Yeah, Jay Leon Love.
I forget who the trainer was. I don't remember. I know they
was
said.
Was it Shane Mosley?
Oh yeah, that's who it is. Shane Mosley. He's training with right now. Yes. All right. So Rob is saying, since England put on the 10-fight card of women, it's blown up now.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true. They were instrumental in having the ladies shine.
That was after the Queen died.
Yes. It was scheduled for when the
Queen died.
Yeah, and then they rescheduled it to a month later.
Remember they made that special Queen belt?
It was pretty. That was gorgeous. And then Damon says, interesting, Serrano just inked a PFL MMA deal. MVP allowed it. I saw that.
MMA?
I did see that. It's supposed to be like a fighter league, for like, how do you want to say, influencers and different, like celebrity type fighters be a part of that PFL. And they usually have like European fights, like things overseas. Big money fights, like in Saudi Arabia and stuff like that.
That made me think about Bare Knuckles and the Juggernaut coming up.
Oh, I gotta tell you, the Juggernaut, he is on my list right now. Lorenzo Hunt is, wanted to dedicate his belt to LL Cool J because LL's, long lost and not remembered.
Uncle.
No, it was actually like his great grandfather, and one of his ancestors, right? Basically, they found out that he won his freedom through fighting bare knuckles. So this weekend at LL Cool J's Ring the Bell concert in New York, they will be dedicated, and when I say they, I mean Scott Burt of the Bare Knuckles Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Him and Lorenzo will be presenting this special belt to LL in remembrance of his ancestor, and the fact that he never received an award or anything for fighting, even though he was the champion. And he started it said he won in 1805 or something like that. Early 1800s, basically. So
right there when Jack Johnson was fighting.
I mean, wouldn't you love to just look up your history and find out that your family is like an original African that was in the sport? That's pretty damn cool.
We saw LL talk about that on that show where they go back and
finding your roots.
Yeah,
yes,
he talked about that.
Yes, and his father, his real grandfather, they were all they like a long line of boxers that he's really from.
Right.
Which is crazy, unbelievable, being that he did the song "Mama Said Knock You Out." He did that before he knew he had that connection with his blood family.
Wow.
But let's see. Oh, okay. So yeah, Damon is truly right. MVP allowed Serrano to sign this separate deal with a different company. That's amazing. That's like Paul standing up for what he believes should be allowed when it comes to women's boxing. And well, we got somebody that's like boo on Rob on Paul. So Rob, stop it. All right. So, okay. So the next thing we wanted to talk about while we had time was the hand wrap. Oh, not the hand wraps. I'm sorry. What we wanted to talk about is Caleb Plant slaps Jermell Charlo upside your head, upside your head.
Slap.
Oh, yes. And you know, the whole reason why that occurred, I mean, like, apparently, you know, Jamal, the bigger Charlo, well, he's not the bigger Charlo anymore, is he? We can't say that. The older Charlo.
Is he older?
Yeah. Jamal is the older Charlo by like 3 minutes or something like that. But anyway, Jamal, the one that is laid off right now from boxing, seemingly, he was toying with Plant, teasing him, egging him on, and he made a mistake and touched this man's beard. That's right. He touched Caleb Plant's beard. And he's like, yo, yeah, look, you a man and you touching my beard? You know, of course, that's very disrespectful. And then it's more disrespectful when you're a white man in an all-black sport. And it's like this dude wouldn't have tried this with anybody else. I feel like that's what he was thinking. Like,
man, was Charlo drinking or what, man? How you
yes.
just grab another man by the beard?
I'm not sure what was going on with, you know, Charlo that weekend, but you know, it seemed to me that he didn't have much pushback when the man did slap him. Like it seemed like he was either too high to care, or
well, you know,
or was too out of it to care. I don't know.
Derek James was talking to them earlier before that happened, and he was telling Charlo, you know, to chill out, you know, stop tripping, because I guess he had been tripping for a while. And he said he wasn't surprised when he got slapped. He said he kept telling Charlo and them to try to de-escalate the situation, but it ended up happening. But and then he bars himself into the arena. You know, another situation, bogarting his way through the security guards. You know, at the fights. So he just seemed like Charlo was amped up, man. The attitude, I don't know. These guys got to relax and calm down and chill.
I mean, but here's the point. Do it set up a Plant versus Charlo fight when he does return? And is that meaning that he's probably going to be returning at 168? Why would he be picking on Caleb Plant unless he already knows he's going to go to that weight class? Like, what do you think?
These dudes do so much social media fighting. It's hard to say if that's going to lead to a real fight or not. I know Caleb Plant with that smoke, but Charlo and them, I've seen him do it with Danny Jacobs. You know, it's just, you know, it's just a lot of back and forth talking. Let's get some real action, get in that ring and really settle this. You know, that's what I want to see.
Well, Damon says Chet hooked him down. But nah, you don't touch nobody like that. Nah. Exactly. You don't touch nobody like that. But I think it especially offends a white man when you gonna touch him when you got all these other boxers around here. You don't. I've never heard him touch nobody else.
This man with his wife. You know,
oh, that's another thing. You disrespecting the man while he with his woman. Like, come on now. That was never gonna end up well.
Yeah.
That was never ever gonna end up well. I can see that. Let's see what else we have on my list. Okay, so. Oh, yes, we can continue this conversation about Shields versus Thurman. Like I said, why is she calling out Thurman when she got a viable female that can be an amazing, you know, fight for her? Why pick on Thurman? Like,
that must be something personal that she maybe don't like about Keith.
She said she respected him. Like,
I mean, I know he's been off a long time, but you know, to call out a man, it's different. You know, with a man really throwing some hands at you, you know, it ain't gonna be like no sparring match, you know. So I don't know. I think Clarissa tripping a little bit on that one.
For real, I just think like maybe that was like, you know, she said she thought she could outbox him. Like, so in a way, it's like giving him homage that she thinks he's a great boxer. So, you know, let's take it at that. But I want her to start talking about Green.
yeah,
Yeah, that's how I want it. I
let's.
mean, as long as she wins this fight tonight, I mean Saturday night, I
Yeah,
want to hear her name being put in the
yeah.
air,
That's what I want to hear too.
and
But
not just by her, but there's other people that should have been bringing her name up already, which is like uh Cruz, who she was her number one contender, Marshall, who says she didn't mind fighting her. So let's just bring up the whole women's sport and not leave people out.
right,
Like if women are gonna do that and they want to fight the best, let's mention the best. So let's mention people that think they're the best and let them prove they're not the best.
right.
Like this is the way you settle this. Let's see. Oh, Damon says when it comes to Plant versus Charlo, he says when that type of thing happens, it's old school selling a fight. We shall see, I guess.
Yeah, I hope that sells this fight, and I hope they sign a contract and get in there, Damon. I've seen so much of this back and forth talking, man, and it don't never come to fruition. So hopefully these two dudes can call Uncle Al and make things happen.
I mean, sure, they can do that. They can absolutely do that. Why not? I mean, it's a situation where he probably was like already like, yeah, we can give Caleb Plant, some work, after his Canelo fights.
Right.
And he's had a fight with Benavidez at this point. So, I mean, wow, it just seems like there's no easy roads for Caleb Plant. At that 168 division, he's getting some tough fights back to back.
There's also news out that they're trying to make a Demetrius Andre Benavidez fight. They're talking about that, so we'll see if
what happened to Morrell Jr.
I don't know.
Man, they need to stop playing me because
I don't know.
I want to see Benavidez versus Morrell Jr. now. Don't put that in my head that it's going to happen. And now you're trying to switch and you're talking about somebody entirely different. Like, no, I mean, that was a great fight. That would make it where Morrell Jr. has to step it up some and see if he belongs with the big boys.
That's what I wanted to see, the battle of the Davids, to see who can call that spot to fall in line for Canelo.
Right, David versus David. What are we talking about here? Come on.
That would have moved both guys, closer to Canelo. That's what Canelo said. Don't wait for me. Y'all guys fight each other.
Well, I kind of don't agree with that, but I mean, I feel like you're sitting there holding all the titles, and other people got these, secondary titles because you got this main belt. Like, no, you need to start fighting. When people call you out and they have a secondary belt and they're your number one or number two contender, I'd rather see that fight than someone that's like number 15 on the list.
True.
I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. So I kind of don't agree with that, but yeah, if you're not getting the fight, go ahead and fight some other talent that's in that division. Let's see. I think I see Rachel coming in now. Okay, let's see. What does he say?
I will FanDuel.
Yeah, FanDuel.
Agreeing KO. Shields, I'm getting paid.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, if you want to gamble it and make it happen, then yeah, go for it. I mean, usually the underdog, the betting odds come into play.
Oh, Damon thinks she's gonna KO Shields. That's what
that's what he said. He's saying he's gonna bet on Green. Okay.
Wow.
Coach Louis says that's the set for a fight. Plant wins by KO. Okay, so he thinks the slap was set up and it is fake. I don't think so, because I don't think no man signs up for another man to pop him like that.
Yeah, you don't want to get slapped.
Then everybody is going viral and everything. Like, I gotta disagree with that one.
Maybe a shoving match might be set up, but man, you don't want to be slapped.
Exactly.
That's some points taken away from you right there.
Well, I'm gonna wrap up this entire hot topics situation right now. And I'm going to end it with this. So the DA has decided not to actually pursue a case against Devin Haney, according to ESPN. What do you think?
A case for what?
Remember the gun charges that
Oh.
Devin Haney? Yeah.
Oh,
Are you surprised?
nah. You got the right people in place. You can make all kind of things happen, but not surprised.
Okay. So the only thing I had to say about it is, you know, Haney, I know you want to market yourself and you think you can do it the way Floyd did it. I don't think this is gonna work for you. You are not.
It's tough,
You
guy.
ain't that dude. Like you've been
Yeah.
sheltered by your dad your entire life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Floyd was living with his grandma and going to the gym with his uncle while his mom and dad had issues. He know about that street life. Okay, he was born and raised in that situation, so he could be the bad boy because he really was a bad boy. But you,
Tank done been in the
you're
street
not.
more than him. And
Yeah, Tank too. Like, there's no room
Betray
for.
that.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
One more thing I forgot to say. They're gonna strip Jamel Charlo
What?
as soon as they get in the ring with Canelo. They're gonna strip him. The WBO said they're gonna strip him and make Tim Tszyu.
Well, guess what?
The WBO regular champ.
That did happen
champion.
today. Today they went ahead and gave Tim Tszyu that honor.
I thought they was gonna wait till the fight.
No, I saw it on ESPN.
So they did it already?
Here it is right here. WBO to award Tim Tszyu full championship status.
I thought it was after he Charlo get in the ring, and then because they said they were going to announce Charlo as undisputed when he goes to the ring, but after that they're going to give Tim Tszyu that belt.
Well, it says the WBA confirmed the move on Thursday in a lengthy statement that also sanctioned the September 30th super fight that scuppered Tszyu's mandatory shot at Charlo. I mean, I don't know if I agree with that either. It's like, I want the belt when I earned it. That's not really earning it. Maybe. If you're going to just give me the belt. I think
Charlo could probably get his belt back. Just fight Tszyu.
Just say September. It's going to be a vacant belt. Well, let's not keep our guessing.
Or let Tszyu fight another top dude for the belt. Who's the number 2 guy?
That's a deep division, 154. Yeah. Maybe it's Bud Crawford.
Don't just get a belt to him. Let him fight. Let him fight another top dude and for that belt. I don't like how they just give somebody the belt.
I assume if Tim Tszyu gets this belt, then they are going to make a Bud Crawford fight at 154.
This guy has been waiting. He fought what, twice since?
Yes.
So he has been waiting, Tim Tszyu.
I understand. I feel you. I'm with you on it. It's not right. I mean. But giving me the belt is not gonna help me.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and introduce our guest, Rachel Charles, to the show, who is a publicist, a manager, an inspirational speaker, someone that's started from the bottom. Now we're here. UK style.
Bottom.
Yeah, it's a UK edition of this amazing Cinderella type story. Wow. And of course, we all know how male dominant boxing is. So
is Rachel
Charles.
Like Rob? She up late like Rob?
No, she's here in Hollywood, baby. Rachel, thanks so much for being on the show.
Rachel. Oh, you're welcome. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Ellie, you look beautiful tonight.
I'm trying not to sweat. I'm trying not to sweat my freshly pressed hair.
I know that's a nice press.
Thank you.
Yes, you saw how we were getting disappointed in boxing when we started hearing about the belts. Just talking about how they'll just decide to allocate a belt to someone instead of them actually, earning the belt.
Yeah.
So I mean, tell us what is your opinion on some of this? I guess you call it politicking. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, I saw that story earlier. I'm with you. If you don't earn it, how are you going to feel about it if somebody just gives it to you? I'm more of a, fight to win it rather than a gift. I don't think it does much for the person that's the recipient of said gift. You got to get in there and fight for it, Oh, look at him, Damon. Damon. I can
Yes.
see the comments.
Oh, good. Yes.
Oh, that's so sweet. But
Huge
yeah, I
respect.
mean, I think if you don't get in there and fight for the belt, I mean, what does that tell you? You know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything. It's just, they've gifted you this belt. It doesn't show that you're worthy of it or you fought.
Mhm.
I think you should fight to win it rather than these sanctioning bodies be playing past the parcel. It doesn't make any sense. So that's just my nice political way of saying it.
It was very good. It was such a great divergence. I caught it right away, but what you were saying is actually correct. So
Yeah, I mean, it's you can't. It's not fair for the other kids that are training and sacrificing and fighting and doing all these things, and then somebody just they just hand it to someone else. I think it should be a fair playing field. I don't think it is these days, unfortunately.
And with Tim Zoo, I think he's the type that might have a problem with that. Like, who's asked Tim Zoo if that's something that he wants to take a part of?
Yeah, exactly. Let's ask his dad. His dad might be like, "No, son, get in there and fight for it like I did," So
exactly.
Rachel, I was curious if you saw the fight last week. Who did you pick, and did the outcome surprise you? The Spence Crawford fight last week.
I actually had Spence only because I'm all about a story. I love people's backstories, and I just thought, God, if he wins this, like, what an epic story. That's like incredible to me that he came back from near death and would have won this big fight and all of that. But I think after the first couple of rounds, I'm like, can I change my mind? But I don't want to leave my dude behind, But I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was, that's what boxing is all about. That's what makes you fall in love with boxing. Or if you're in it and you're not, you're trying to get away from it, or you feel, that it's losing its, je ne sais quoi, then the fight kind of brought it back to everyone what real boxing is all about. It was raw, it was bloody, it was, they put their hearts out there. Terence Crawford was absolutely masterful, and I'm really, really happy for him. I love Spence. I'm glad that he's going to be okay. I don't want him to do it again. I don't think it's wise. There's nothing to gain from it because I don't think the outcome would be any different, unfortunately. So the better man won.
I agree with you. I don't feel like, moving up and having that additional weight is going to make those skill differences any closer together.
No. And not only that, Crawford's got his number. It's not going to change anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to change anything by moving up, doing whatever. Crawford's got him in the palm of his hand. So he already knows if there were to be a second time, he knows how to perhaps maybe tweak a few extra things, but it would be extra freaking hard. You know what I mean? It's not. So he's the man. There's no getting around him, no getting around him. It's brilliant.
Rachel, what's your secret? You just glowing. Your skin is just. What's the secret?
Don't get me started. Clean living, plenty of water, no alcohol, no cigarettes, no nothing. Vegetables, yeah. Honey and lemon water. It works a charm.
Oh, wow. I thought you had a sponsor waiting for us.
I wish.
You had if you'd have said a product, I would have raced out to go get it.
No, she's just glowing.
Plenty of water.
Okay.
I believe you. I actually believe you.
I just turned 55 last week. I'm old, so I gotta keep it going.
Wow.
Yes. Wow, y'all are close to too.
1968, huh?
July 20,
You didn't have to say the year.
I'm sorry.
When bread was probably about $1. And horses were still trotting around in the streets, right? So
I mean,
that's what my lads tried to tell me. Oh, Rachel,
I say just give us 1 year with those type of prices, and we'll all be on the come up, right?
I'd be in Target more often than I am now.
I saw you with your Target bag on IG.
Oh, I love Target. That's my spot. If I'm not in the house, I'm at Target. The only two places. If you can't find me there, I'm probably dead somewhere. So
wow, she likes Target. That's cool.
I love Target. Yeah, it's my spot.
Rachel, I was watching some videos earlier, and I was surprised that your dad, how your dad and mom met and who your dad is.
Yeah, you know, yeah, my parents met in 1968 in Boston, England, and yeah, my dad was he's a drummer. He was drumming for Stevie Wonder, and my mom went to the concert, and as legend goes, you know, she's at the concert, and my dad will say, "Oh my God, I look down, I see, you know, this blonde." And she looks up and sees this brother on the stand, and they're like, "Okay, I'll see you in the back," you know.
Right,
But,
right.
yeah,
Okay. I like
yeah,
what I'm seeing.
yeah. You know, it's a crazy story, and you know, it's all true. It's just absolutely incredible. You know, it's a brilliant story, and you know, my mother was married to a white guy at the time and had a white kid.
Wow.
So when she went off and had a little you know,
Rendezvous.
rendezvous with my dad, yeah. And she said that she goes, I missed the train. And Stevie Wonder was playing with my brother all day and giving him sweets and hanging out and stuff. And my mom said that she missed the train to go home. It was one train back to Boston. And by the time she got on that train, you know, I was already happening. So
I can see where that marriage ended,
That's
you know.
a great story.
Yeah, it's pretty
Great
cool.
story.
She ended up having to run away because she found out she was pregnant with me, and I guess she did the math, and she had to run away, and she had me. And so they still talk about it now. Still
I
talk
was
about
about to
it all
say,
these
because you
years.
can't hide it when your lover is a different complexion.
And my dad was long gone. He was back over here doing his own thing, and she was over in England pregnant with me, so he was long gone. And then the husband came to see this new baby, and I was like,
It's like, hi,
yeah,
what's up,
it didn't go over very well, but
you
we're
know,
here
it's a
now.
little off subject, but you did kind of remind me that, you know, UKers, British people do love good American music.
Yeah.
It's a love affair that's gone through many decades. Like, what do
Oh,
you think it is
absolutely.
that
I
people?
think, you know what, it was like the Beatles were on their way over here, and black music was on its way over, you know, R&B and everything was on its way to England. The Rolling Stones were on their way here, and everyone just kind of crossed over the Atlantic. And yeah, you know,
not a barrier anymore.
You can't beat Motown though, no matter where you are. You know,
Right.
you always know one song, you know. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I always like that about British people. It's like, wow, they have more appreciation for some of our music, like the blues and, you know, R&B and soul music than, you know, people in the United States. You know, like mainstreamers. And
a lot of black acts, you know, African American, I prefer to use the word black, but a lot of black acts went over to England and Europe and became very successful. Right. You know, more successful over there than they were over here.
And over here.
Yeah. So
that's why a lot of artists still go over there today. They get more love from the British fans than America.
Yeah. It's crazy because they say, like, you know, you have to come to America to make it, and that's not necessarily true. You know, I mean, the arenas are big over here and whatnot, but you know, I'm a believer of going somewhere where you're a big fish in a small pond, so to speak, you know. Right. So I love it. I think it's great. So
it did work out for you. Now you do
worked out for me.
A love affair with drummers, I guess, an affinity
for
them since that got you to the US. Tell us how that happened.
So so my uncle is Neil Diamond's percussionist, and then my former husband, my late husband, was also the percussionist, a percussionist for Neil Diamond. He had 3 of them. And every time my uncle would come to England, I would go and see him. Every time the tour would come to England. And my husband was also on the tour. So I knew him kind of growing up throughout the years. And then they came over, and I was like 21 at that point, and we hit it off, and he scooped me up and brought me to America.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty. That was
America.
Wild, absolutely wild. And I went on tour with Neil Diamond and my husband for like 5 years, 6 years, and it was a lot. There was a lot
Seemed
going
like a
on. And I was
love
only
match
young.
right away, because for
It
him to
was,
decide, like, yeah, that you got to come back with me.
I know, right? I mean, it was wild. I was only 22. He was 44. And my daughter, I had a 5-year-old daughter at the time. I had my daughter when I was 17. And yeah, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. You know, I gave up, I gave up England, of course, but I was on welfare. I wasn't doing that great, It's like, shit, I'm going to America. I'm going to go and see what I can do over there, So yeah, he made me an offer I couldn't refuse and brought me over here, brought my daughter. And yeah, it's been great. No looking back. It's been
I mean,
fantastic.
that's just kind of amazing story.
Awesome.
If you ended right there and we
I
didn't
know.
know everything else that developed, like that's like a movie right there. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty
'cause
wild.
you got like celebrities in it. You're related to. You find out your dad is, kind of like a music legend in his own right, as a drummer. Then you come across the pond here and you make it like successful.
Yeah.
And I mean, because I consider it a success just to be traveling on tours with music. I mean, that's a rough. It ain't for everybody. Like,
no, it's not. No,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it after a while. It's that movie. Have you ever seen that movie, Almost Famous? You ever seen it? It's brilliant. You have to see it. It's really good. It's about this young kid that goes on the road and writes a story for Rolling Stone. But it's like that. There's lots of music. There's lots of people. There's lots of everything else that
Go ahead,
people
say
should be
it.
doing. Like drug, sex,
Lots
and
of
rock and roll.
partying.
Yeah,
Sex.
I mean, I was on the band bus one time, and this guy came out the bathroom, and I was like, "Didn't he just have triple bypass surgery?" And he's got like coke all around his nose. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, So that was it wasn't a lifestyle for me. I ended up staying home and just making friends and raising my daughter. And then my husband would go on the road. But the things that I saw, it was pretty mind blowing, But it was
pretty
cool,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, I was 22, so I was brand new and having fun and just traveling and Madison Square Garden with like 25,000 people and all that kind of stuff. It was brilliant. It's a great experience. I'll never forget it. I'll
in the
always
right
be grateful.
circles at the right time, because that was like a party time period,
Yeah. Neil Diamond at that point was having like a second, go around of his already amazing career. So it was really, really cool. It was great. It taught me a lot, and I was very grateful, and just goes to show how much your life can change just in a flash. You just never know where you're going to end up. So it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Rachel, what's do you still have a relationship where you talk to Stevie Wonder at all?
You know what? I haven't spoken to Stevie in a while, but I think he's doing well. But I haven't. It's been a couple of years. I haven't spoken to him. Lives right down the street, but we were really, really good friends. So I actually ended up dating him.
You ended up dating him?
Say what? No.
I did. Listen, you got an exclusive there. I've never really told many people around me, but I mean, my friends know, but yeah. All those.
I mean, I heard you like on the other. I saw one podcast where you did say that he had helped you, supported you getting your wardrobe and things together for your first boxing job. So like I still didn't put two and two together. I'm like, it's just because Stevie and Dad, had a relationship. Yeah, but that was pretty wild. I mean, he must have really been attracted to that sexy voice of yours.
Well, I mean, what can I say? You know what though? It's funny because he would go to church with the same church that my best friend went to, and it was my birthday. I think I was like 30, maybe 32, 33. I can't remember now. And she's like, go say hi to him. I'd never met him in person up until that point. And when I went to meet him, I mentioned my father. I didn't even get his whole name out, and Stevie remembered my dad. Then he literally said, "How's Christine and Patrick," which is my mother and my brother. I was like, "Holy shiznits!" And then so that was it. We're in deep.
Oh wow!
I can't believe I just told you that.
But I mean, Stevie Wonder was huge then too. Like Which song did he sing that you just like, it, did something to you?
To me? Oh God.
You know what I'm saying.
You know what? What songs do I like?
Isn't she lovely?
No, I think it's called
Ribbon in the Sky.
Isn't it As? As? I think it's As. A-S. I think it's
As.
Yeah, I
As.
love that song. I'm just gonna pull him up on my playlist right now. Let me see what I've got. But I don't have too many of his songs.
All I Do.
All I Do.
Yeah, I like that one. I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not really a ballady type person. Not his ballads. I'm not really keen on his ballads. I like the good, So yeah.
I think I like Ribbon in the Sky the best. I do.
I would love, Rachel. I would love to sit back and just watch him create and do his thing. I know you've seen it.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. Yeah, and I told him because when I was little, I wanted to be a backup singer for Diana Ross and the Supremes.
Oh,
and he goes, sing a little something. I'm so stupid. Like, what was I thinking? So I did, and he went, "Oh yeah, you stick with the boxing." I think you did really well.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's been. I've had a journey. It's been wild.
Interesting relationships with people.
You ever met Michael Jackson, Rachel?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'd probably kick his ass, and I can't stand him. Don't get me started on freaking Michael Jackson. Oh my God! This interview will go right down the tubes, man. I'm telling you.
We don't want to get you in trouble with the Jackson ending, right?
I know,
That's
right?
not a good thing. Yeah. But just to say, what about Prince?
Never met Prince.
Prince was pretty
but nice. I like Prince. I like some of his music, not all of it. Odd little fella, but Oh God, I'm terrible. Don't get me started. Oh God,
I don't know what he was doing to these women, because he always had some gorgeous women, and a lot of them look just like you. Like you had that prototype that he would like, right?
Yeah. Yes. See, I was always hoping that I'd run into Robert De Niro. Oh my God, I love Robert.
He likes a good sister too.
That's what I was thinking. My chances are pretty high because he loves sisters. So I was like, maybe I'll run into him, but never happened.
Chocolate now, like it's amazing to me that all those years he had brown women and it never came out. Nobody ever talks about it. Yeah. It wasn't until later in his life I'm like, what? He likes sisters.
And he was married to Stevie's ex-girlfriend. So there's a little thing going on,
Yeah. So you would have been next in line, like
you go stand here and I'll go stand there with him.
Yes.
Oh,
that's hilarious. That's funny.
Yeah.
That is
crazy.
Let's see. He says, who else you meet, Rachel? Sounds like an amazing life you had.
Who else have I met?
I
cannot tell you any more because you'd never see me again, so I can't tell you anymore.
That's what our private look. This is for a private phone call between Sakura and Rachel later.
Exactly. Just wait for the book. It's on its way.
Right. I've got to hear what Michael did to turn you off. Like, first of all,
that's funny.
So I want to go to your career, starting with boxing, because it is such a male-dominated sport, and because it's difficult for the women that, started earlier, not like just starting, just starting their careers now, which is still tough. But I'm just going to say, what do you think made the difference when you first got to Goosen, as far as him wanted to be accepting of you as a female and thinking that, hey, I like this girl, she can do her job?
Yeah, it's interesting because when I did get to Goosen, obviously through James Toney, Dan Goosen was a guy, rest in peace, but he's a guy that if he sees just a sparkle in you, he's going to take a chance, which is great. There's not that many people that actually would do that, right? And I guess he just saw something in me. And, I had a bit of PR experience, before, but he's the kind of guy that would just throw you out and see if you survive. If you come back in one piece, then, you know, like you're a winner type of deal, you know, like you can handle it. And I guess he just thought that I could, you know, I could handle this business and the men in it and all of that. And he used to tell me all the time, you know, some people are going to like you and some people aren't, but just carry on, you know, just carry on doing your job. And that's exactly what I did. I did everything in the spirit of how he would, you know, want things to be done. He was a perfectionist. Everything had to be top notch, you know, and I've carried that with me throughout these last 2 decades that I've been around, you know. So, you know, he was a strong man. He was just, you know, again, it was like, even with a boxer, if you saw a boxer that had something about him, he would, you know, really push. And I like that. I love, you know, he's a hard man to work for, you know, but, and it wasn't often that he would give you, you know, the thumbs up or, you know, no warm and fuzzies.
Like, great job.
Right, exactly, right. None of that. No great job this, no great job that. He wrote it on a check one time, you know, keep on, you know, doing what you're doing. But, you know, it's almost like you're supposed to be doing that. You know what I mean? He had a standard and you had to meet it or exceed it, you know, either one. But yeah, it was a great experience, and I got to meet and work with some incredible people, and I had no idea about boxing. I was just a pedestrian fan, didn't know what a punch, I didn't know TKO, I didn't know KO, I didn't know anything, literally, kid you not. And
but you had the experience in being a PRing and marketing.
Yeah, you know,
jobs.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, like I had some experience, of course, being in the music industry, and you just switch out a microphone for a pair of gloves, right? But I think that when I came in, people were, you know, who's the new girl, right? Because there weren't that many women anyway. There certainly wasn't any black women, right? There's not that many.
It's still that way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I you know, I don't know of any other sisters that are doing what I'm doing, you know, so, but, you know, it was just, people were really happy to help me and help me through and just guide me along. And I would just sit in press row and ask, you know, people, you know, what's this and what's that and what's happening now and what, you know, and they just taught me, and I just learned as I went along, fight to fight, and, you know, just kind of hone my skills just from literally the bottom, you know, the bottom up. And I'm a good people person, you know, I've got a good gift of the gab. So, you know, I realized getting to know my boxer, the better that I know him, the easier it is for me to go out there and get press and all the kinds of things that I have to do. So
sell that person,
you know, yeah.
Awesome.
And I like,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, you know, and I like to see what everyone else is doing. So because I had such exclusive access to all these big promoters and all these fighters, I would go in and see, well, what's going on over here and what's going on, and, you know, contracts and things like that. So I don't know it all, you know, but I know enough, you know, and what I don't know, I can easily pick up the phone and find out, you know, from colleagues and whatnot. But you know, it's just, I'm a lifer, you know, I'm a lifer in boxing. I do love boxing. It's in my blood. It's in my heart. Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, I love it. I love my fighters and I see what they go through, and people, you know, I'm very much, you know, I'm sure my daughter would beg to differ, but I feel like I'm quite nurturing almost, but I love these kids. I love these fighters, you know, because I've seen the shitty side of boxing. And what it does, it can destroy you. Boxing can destroy you, let alone actually being in the ring and getting injured or whatnot, you know. So I try to just be about for my lads, and just try to be as present as possible and just have that bond with them, and I can go out there and do the best job I can do for them.
I think that's the best way to be, is to actually really be genuine and caring, because that's what comes through when you're dealing with, you know, even if it backfires on you sometimes, which it does. But being your authentic self, and if you're like a caring, nurturing person, that comes through, and it's a benefit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Dan used to say, don't fall in love with your boxers. And it's like, oh shit, it's too late. I've loved every single one that I've ever worked with, even the ones that I don't like, you know what I mean? Because again, I see what can happen to these lads if they don't take care of their money, if they don't take care of themselves and things like that. And they start, they start at the bottom and work their way up, and then they're on the big stage, and then they plummet all the way back down again. And yeah, it can turn on you. You can give and give and give, and then these guys, there's not much loyalty, right? So you have to go into it knowing that has the potential.
If only we had known. If only we had known.
Right? How come no one told us?
Who didn't tell? Somebody's in trouble. They should have told us that these people are not loyal. Chris Brown was the only one.
The fine print.
Yes, Chris Brown clued us in that people are not loyal.
Right?
He's the only one.
Terrible. But you know what? If somebody chooses to leave or go on, with somebody else, at least they're gone. It might sound cheesy and cliche, but you did the best job that you could do. And if you're secure in that, and that you did the best job, the other person isn't going to do shit for them, right? And they're going to see the difference. That's the key. But, oh, well, Rachel used to do this, or Rachel used to do that, and you're not doing what Rachel used to do. It's like, oh, well, you left Rachel behind, so guess what? Rachel's off doing something else now with someone else. There's always someone that would need you, so that's
true. Like that comparison always starts to happen. Speaking of comparisons, I was going to ask you, the contracts that you saw back in the day with Goosen's team, like, is it completely different than the contracts that you look at now for boxers?
Yeah, money wise, absolutely. And there was big money. Sure. There was, look, there was big money floating around. Obviously, not as big as it is now. It's just astronomical now. But there was good money floating around. There's more than one person that comes to mind that should be living like a king right now. They're not, but they should be. But yeah, the money these days is just insane. Oh my gosh, how do you begin to count it? It's crazy.
Should there be a class for boxers when they start out, just the way the NFL has created? A class that's financial responsibility and different ways to invest and how you should conduct yourself. Like, I'm hearing about these new courses that they are, just teaching men that are joining the league and going to have substantial amounts of cash and all of a sudden.
You know what? I absolutely agree, and I think they should be. And I know that there have been people that have been floating around boxing for years trying to tell these kids. But, the way I look at it, most of these kids come from, low income backgrounds, right? I'm not really trying to, but that's kind of like the reality. And I feel like they're not receptive, because it's like, if you tell them it's save up for a rainy day, they're thinking, well, I've had all my freaking rainy days. I'm gonna go get a car. I'm gonna go get the name brands, because I've lived like with nothing for years and years and years, and I've sacrificed. And now all of a sudden, you're gonna tell me that I gotta put some of this away.
That I still should be spending,
right? And that's the thing. And they're not receptive. Some of these kids aren't receptive. Hopefully, they'll see, Floyd doing what he's doing with his money, Deontay, Canelo. There are some, people out there that are doing really good with their money. But back when I first started out, a lot of these kids were like, absolutely not. I always say, like, you'd see a kid at a weigh-in and he's got some scruffy drawers on. It's like, oh my life, and then the next time you see him, it's in silky, like boxers and
boxers.
Right. And then there's the Gucci belt and I'm like, oh my God.
It's like you couldn't wait 3 fights in.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But, I always refer to Paul Williams, because Paul Williams was making good money, and he bought land, he bought real estate. He's one of my favorite guys of all time that I've ever worked with, right?
He is so adorable.
I love Paul Williams. And, he did all of that. And then look what happens to him. He's in a wheelchair now. But had he not have done the things that he did and listened to, Mr. Peterson, who was his trainer manager type guy, lovely fella, but he listened to him and he went out and invested his money. Had he not have done that, we could have been looking at a whole different situation with that kid. Right. It would be absolutely tragic. So hopefully these kids coming up are a little bit wiser. They're copying on and understand that boxing doesn't last forever. Your window is extremely short, and it can be over in one fight, so hopefully
one
they'll start listening.
Unexpected injury, and that's it.
That's exactly it, you know.
So
So
I'm
yeah.
seeing here some of I see Paul Williams is one of the fighters that you've worked with. Andre
Mhm.
Ward, Buddy
Mhm.
McGirt, Golden Boy Promotions, Zab Judah.
Yeah.
And wow, these lists are going on and on and on. And then now you are the first female to manage a boxer out of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And we all know that country is not known for giving women the same rights as men. So how did you pull that off, Rachel?
How'd you do it?
Only a girl from England. No, well,
She
you know,
used that smile. That smile is a $1 million smile.
Right, yeah. Well, I had Ziad Al Mayouf, so, and he goes by Zizzo. So Zizzo was training with Buddy up at the gym, and I met him that way. And I took him on because he's a special kid, right? He's a very special young man. He's a really good kid. I like him a lot. And I just realized that someone's going to come in and just take this kid. And you could just tell like there's something special about him. And so I got involved with him. And yeah, I mean, I understood the importance of looking after him while we're here in America. I had no idea that we'd end up going back to Saudi.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then we ended up going, you know, over to Saudi, and he got signed and the whole bit. It was like a whirlwind. Last year was a crazy year. And yeah, we made history together. He was the first Saudi signed fighter, and I was the first female, which is, you know, it's fantastic. I'm really happy, you know. I don't suppose I'll be in the Guinness Book of Records, but who gives a shit? It's not going to be on my gravestone. But, you know, I did it, and no one else, and anyone else coming behind me, they're behind me, right? I was the first one. So,
exactly.
yeah.
I mean, I think it's amazing. I think that that's something that should be, you know, you should be giving your accolades, you know, for pulling something like that off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even every day that a African American period can go and conduct business in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for you to be a female and a minority and be able to do it, I have to give you your jewels now.
Thank you.
Now, right now.
Yeah.
We're not waiting until people are passing away.
Right.
No,
right.
we want it now. I want to give it to you now because that's pretty special.
It is special. You know, I went to Saudi. I've been there twice. And it's not that bad. I traveled alone. I went there on my own. I met the team over there.
Whoa.
So, you know, but then again, I go to TJ on my own, so it's no big deal. Like when you got no fear of anything, you just go, right? You don't even really think about it. But it's like not that bad anymore. Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's fear in a minute. I want to talk about your fear in a minute, or you're not ever having fear. But just to say, going to Saudi Arabia alone is something that I don't think I would think about. And also, I saw a photo of you over in Saudi Arabia. You didn't try to, you know, cover your hair or do any of the things that are what they consider customary over there. So, I mean, you went as yourself, 100%.
Yeah, but you know what, though? I mean, the thing is that everything's changing over in Saudi now anyway. You don't have to cover your hair. It's all common sense. Dress appropriately. I'm not one to be showing much skin anyway, so that wouldn't be a thing. You still can't have completely bare arms. They asked you that I could wear a t-shirt. I was wearing, you know, V-neck t-shirt, you know, just don't have your freaking tits hanging out. You know what I mean? It's all
damn, like, I'm out, you know? Baby. I can never go.
Listen, I have to take mine down. I'm gonna have to take them down. But you know, I mean, it's not the my experience, and I know that, you know, like the chatter and the, you know, the uproar of people going to Saudi, and I totally get it. I understand it. My experience there was fantastic. I was treated very well. I didn't feel you know, what's the word, like suppressed, oppressed, you know, all of that. I didn't feel any of that. I was accepted. I was respected. And, you know, I think it's all just common sense. When you go to another country, just, you know what their traditions are, know what their rules might be, right? I mean, you can't come to America and break the law. You can't go to Europe and break the law, or you can't act a fool in some other person's country. So, you know, we're guests in their country, and I get it. But they're making a major push to include women in everything. Ramana Ali fought last year in Jeddah. She made history herself, the first female fighter in Jeddah in professional boxing. And, you know, that was a major, you know, step towards including women yeah, absolutely. And honestly, it's not what people think it is. It really isn't. It really isn't.
Do you know what it is? It's just like you're hearing so many political and world news stories on the atrocities, and but and I do go off about that, no doubt about it. But what you have to remember is that people that live in these countries are not necessarily mirroring the image that, you know, their, you know, palace or kings or in our case, our government, you know, what we're not all reflecting the same thing. Like, people are people.
You know, I would say that, you know, as we sit here in the United States of America, right? There are states where women can't even get abortions. You can't even, you know, so you've been raped by your drunk dad and you're pregnant now, or your cousin or whatever. Now you've got to have that baby. I think that's disgusting, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, we've got brothers driving down the road and getting shot and killed. You know, we've got a lot going on in our own back garden. Yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. So we need to clean up our own shit before we go over there and try to tell somebody else. And we don't want to see people getting, you know, like their versions of punishment. But, you know, we have shit going on too, right? So it's like I find that when I went over there, I didn't have any like notions of anything, right? I'm no dummy, right? But I knew how to move and shake, right? But I just think that what I saw, and I'm glad that I can actually come back and let everyone know. And I really think that people should go over there and just experience it just one time. You don't have to go once, it's so bloody hard anyway, right? But just go one time and then, you know, kind of make your own mind up, right? Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Right. But I had the best time. I was in Jeddah. I was right down the street from Mecca. It was spiritual. It was freaking beautiful. The people were great. You know, everything. It was just a whole different vibe. And then I went to Riyadh in February, and that was brilliant too. Everyone was just great. I didn't have any problems. None.
Rachel, how long was the air flight? How long it took you to get there? Oh my God.
It took me 16 hours from here to where did I go? Qatar the first time. So that was the halfway spot. And then another 3 hours into Saudi. So it was a journey. It was horrible. And it was like there was like a 6-hour wait in between flights. So basically a 24-hour situation or more.
Did you go to Dubai?
I flew into Dubai when I went there the second time, but I didn't go out and about in Dubai. Right. But in Dubai, I saw women in shorts, in freaking shorts. I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. So that's a whole nother side of the Middle East. You know what I mean? That's
that money city where you got enough money now. Yeah. So you do what
the rules are different. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But Saudi has an initiative right now, the 2030 initiative. So by 2030, women are going to be, you know, doing some amazing things. There's going to be amazing sports. There's going to be all kinds of things going on. So I think that they're working very hard to change that view that the Western world has on them. You know, they're working hard.
And that's the thing. It's like, as long as you're trying to be a part of effective change, there's nothing wrong with interacting with people that you normally wouldn't. Yeah. And then sometimes you end up changing their mind about, you know, perceptions that they might have too.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, the thing is that they're opening their doors to the West, you know, and it's just like someone coming in your house. Take your shoes off at the door, you know, have manners, you know, it's no different. You know, I just know what I saw when I went over there, and it was great. So, you know, I just want everyone to know, you know, and I'm not getting paid to tell anyone anything, you know what I mean? But I just want everyone to know that I had a great experience. So
it's not the stereotype that people have in mind.
Not even close.
How was the food though? Like, I need to know that the food is good. That's all I'm about.
The food, I swear to God, I think I I gained so much freaking weight when I went over there. Their food is unbelievable. Like they can't have they don't spray their food, no pesticides and all that kind of stuff. You know, like it's against the law over there. So that food is like real food,
Fresh.
real
Yeah.
fresh. Everything's fresh. Yeah, yeah, really good.
Hollywood Fight Nights. Is that your guy?
That's yeah, Gore Yoritsian. Great kid. I love Gore, my Armenian kid. Yeah, so he's gonna fight August 26th. So yeah,
August
he's my
26th.
new he's my new
UFC
kid.
Fight Pass. I like UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, yeah. We just signed him to Tom Loeffler and 360 Promotions.
What?
Yeah, so he's
Very
just got
nice.
signed, and Gore's a really, really good kid. I'm loving him right now. He's a really good kid. I like him.
Nice
him a lot.
tattoos too, huh?
Oh yeah, he's a little cutie, man. I'm like, oh my God, he's good he's good from a professional, but he actually is he's the full package, you know what I mean? He can fight, he looks good, and you know, he's good he's marketable, very marketable.
What weight class?
147.
Ooh, right in the thick of things. Okay.
Yeah, right in that sweet spot.
Rachel,
Yeah.
dealing with the boxing, are you totally done with music, or do you still deal with music at all?
No music anymore. No, I'm just all about the boxing. Yeah, no music
She's
anymore.
a boxing girl.
I'm a boxing girl. Yeah, I haven't been around music in a really long time. I mean, I would if the right thing came along, but yeah, boxing is my love. So yeah.
Now, I find it very interesting and ironic that even as a younger child, I think you mentioned around the age of 10 that you had experienced a sexual, well, I call it rape. I mean, I know people call it different things, but very traumatic. And that made you a fighter in your own right, emotionally, and sometimes physically, I guess.
Yeah.
And now you end up, you know, in this whole new universe where you're like still connected to fighting.
Yeah.
And, so I thought that was an interesting irony and
oh yeah,
cool.
I was born fighting. You know, I mean, it's just everything from my conception has been, you know, extraordinary. And then you have all these, you know, these crazy things happening throughout your life and life-changing experiences. When I was 10, you know, I mean, that's a horrible realization, knowing that you're looking around you and there's no one that's got your back. And I think that that's been my driving force with all of my lads and with anyone really. I will fight for anyone that I care about, of course, you know, but to be a 10-year-old and you're looking around at the people that should be protecting you and they're not, and then you realize, you know, like I'm on my own, like I'm, you know, I got to scrap my way through life. It's horrible. You know, you spend a lot of years trying to figure it out and all of that, and it's such a shame. Your innocence has been stolen, you know.
Right.
Horrible.
What I like about your story is it is where, you know, it's a triumph on the end where you overcame a lot, but it is an example of like it doesn't happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? Like people think like, oh, I can feel better the next day, or like just forget it and move on. Like these are things that, you know, are stained in your memory in a way, and they have an effect for quite a long time.
My whole life.
My
whole. I mean, my life up to this point. I'm 55, so it happened 45 years ago. It feels like it happened yesterday. I have no relationship with my mother. I have no relationship with my father. My father lives right down the street. I haven't spoken to my dad in 22 years. He literally lives down the street from me. Yeah, can't stand the man. But you know, you know, it's horrible when something like that happens, and you're trying to figure it out. You're still a kid. Then I had a kid. You know, I got pregnant at 16. So, you know, it's just one thing after another. You don't have time to sit and kind of gather yourself. And then it's only as you start to get older that you realize that you are, you know, you're walking wounded. And it's fucking awful. Excuse my language, but it's fucking awful. And I feel really I feel for people. You know, people tell me all the time, you should forgive and then you can move on. It's like, absolutely freaking not. I don't believe in that. There's no freaking way. I don't believe in it, right?
Some
You
things are just
cannot-
not forgivable. That's how I feel.
That's exactly it. You cannot come and do something so detrimental to me. You stole my childhood. You stole my innocence. I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck you just did. And then on top of that, I'm being burdened with this forgiveness shit. Absolutely not. Oh my God, you got me started. No
I
freaking
give
way,
you,
right?
I understand.
No way.
No,
Absolutely.
I
It's like-
totally understand, because it's a point where even if a day or two, like you might think like, yeah, I should just be giving my forgiveness to people, and then you're like, hell no, why the hell am I the one that's supposed to start, the apology tour, or I forgive you tour? Like, these are people that messed my childhood up. Why should I have to be the one to do something?
You didn't take the last slice of freaking pizza. You took my life.
Right.
You took my life. I do not. You will fucking burn in fucking hell before I will forgive you. And I strongly believe in that. I really do. And I would tell anyone that feels that burden to forgive, absolutely not. Do not let that sit on you. That is not your burden. Do not do it.
Right.
I mean, I've always fought. I am a scrapper. I will.
Yeah,
That's my go-to. Yeah, right. Oh my God. I mean, but that's But I think that when you start to, I'm very conscious of like world injustices, like you talk about Saudi Arabia and things like that, and I'm keen to it. I understand it, but and I will fight for it. You know what I mean? I definitely am a frontline type of girl, but I just, it's crazy, man. But no one should have to go through that. And I know that they are. And that's why I want to go out on the road and start talking about things like this. It's only been recently that I've actually been comfortable enough to even discuss what I went through as a kid.
Oh,
so, it's pretty wild, So
I mean, it's just so like, it's you and your two sisters, three kids in female girls in the home. How could you even as a mother think about having that individual back in the house? Like, that's just like, nah, that's unforgivable.
That's completely unforgivable. Right. Yeah. I mean, and I did try and have a relationship with my mom, and she would, I had her come over a couple of times, and the last time I saw her,
far?
I did. I tried, but it was always in the back of my mind, and I was just like, let's just, like, I'm not even living over there anymore. I'm here, and there's a ocean between us, and but I just couldn't get my head around it, but there's a lot more to it, but I just couldn't get my head around it. I was like, you know what? No, I'm better off alone, and I chose to cut everyone off and go it alone.
I mean, but not just that, like it was like a little, vindication, being able to like show off a little bit, like, yeah, this is what I have now. What?
Oh yeah. And I
always got going on.
Revenge is best served on HBO, right? That's what I always used to say. But I mean, it's crazy because I mean, but you know what? That's all you can do, right? When you're so far down, that's all you can only go up. You know what I mean? And I think that, the journey is heavy because your spirit is super heavy, but you find other ways to channel your hurt by giving of yourself to others that are hurting, right? So you have that empathy, that sympathy, and you want to be around other people that are hurt and try to help them. So I will stand in front of, not all of my lads, but some of them in front of a bus, right? I'd be like, I'd stand in front of a bus for you, and some I'd be like pushing them into the freaking
like,
bus.
girl, get over here,
right.
girl, get over here.
Yeah, but I find that I've met so many lads that have had similar backgrounds, just upheavals in their life, and I can relate to them. Like, I talk to my boys all the time. I mean, most of these kids that I'm still close with, I don't even represent them anymore. When I was at Sheer Sports, I did, but we're all still very close. At one of my Ronald Ellis, his daughters come over here, and we bake cupcakes, and they sleep over and hang out, and they're great. They know me as Auntie Rachel. But I love to be with my lads because I can show them what I'm telling you. I lived it, and they all look at me like, oh, Rachel, you're not from the hood. I'm like, I am. I just move differently, you know,
Different
and when
geographic hood than what
yeah,
you
you
think.
know, yeah. But when I start to tell them and share my story, then they're like, oh shit, you know, she's hitting on things that they can relate to. And it makes for a great relationship, and they trust me, and because they know that I understand them and I'm gonna look out for them. So
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing story. And like, I think that the boxers actually, they probably like can sense that fighter in you too. And that attracts them to you as well. Like,
oh yeah,
so
100%, yeah,
that just kind of helps out. And it
yeah,
probably, puts you in the position along with your hard work, but doors have to be open for you. And I think that's a
yeah,
good way of looking at, like, what having a damaged childhood can do for
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Because a lot of,
Well, it's gonna make you or
yeah.
break you, isn't it? So,
Mhm.
they I remember they told my mom, oh, she's gonna be promiscuous, and she's not gonna do this, and she's not gonna do that. It's like, well, wait there, and fuck off. I'm gonna go live my life, and I'm gonna be amazing. Yeah, I had a kid at 16, so I went the long way around, but I'm the long way around kind of girl anyway, right? I'm not gonna sell
Right.
myself out just to get to wherever. But I mean, people, they put these labels on you, and that's just awful, because then if you believe it, you live it, right? And that's
Mhm.
absolutely not something that I was going to do. And yeah, I mean, I've had a great life. I've worked very hard, and I've had some great situations and good fortune and things like that, but it hasn't come without sacrifices. So yeah,
Exactly.
and
Like,
I'd do it
yeah.
all again. I'd do it all again, no
Rachel,
different.
would you ever move back to the UK, or you love it here?
I've been here for 33 years, but I would go home. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to miss my friends. A lot of them have died now, through cancer and things like that.
Mhm.
Premature deaths. But I do miss the girls that I grew up with, like my friends, and I
Oh,
miss the snow. And but yeah, I would definitely consider going back, but my daughter lives in Hawaii. She just had a baby, so I should probably stick around a little bit. LA's
right.
closer to Hawaii than
Yeah,
England
you're
is,
gonna be
right?
going the opposite way.
Yeah, yeah, I'm going the other direction. But yeah, I would. I mean, my dream is to go home and represent some British fighters.
Oh,
So,
Okay.
nice.
I would love to do that. But there's a few over there that I've had my eye on, but I would love to go home and do a fight, like just like with a
I
British
just
fighter.
I just want to go to an actual UK fight myself, because
Yeah,
the fans are like, yes, like the fans are like amazing. Like, those are boxing fans.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
they will
yeah.
ride or die with their guy, and
Mm-hmm.
lose, win, draws, injured, whatever it might be.
Some
Like, they're
loyal
there
Yeah,
for them.
fans.
Yeah, they're totally loyal
Loyal over
fans,
there.
and
yeah.
they know how to party on fight nights. Like, you can tell.
Yeah, yeah. The British, they're loud and proud. It's fun. I was just over in England actually with for Joshua Franklin, and I had Zizzo on the card, but I want to go home with a British fighter, and like
Yeah,
that'd be really cool. So
having like, it's
Right.
my
one
fight.
day, yeah, one
Now,
day.
it's funny you said you would go home, because my best friend lives in Orlando, and she's from Kent. And
Kent,
Kent,
yeah.
yeah, she hadn't been home for 25 years, and she just went home for the first time. She said it was
Wow,
exciting. It was
yeah,
fun. I got to eat my food. She loves the Indian food from over there.
yeah,
And says it's so much different over here. But she's like, but I would never move there. I'm good. I'm out.
wow.
She's
That's
like,
funny.
I'm in sunny
Yeah.
Florida. That's my home. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I definitely, I've got all these, like, oh, I'll go live in the countryside and it'll be all cute and romantic. I'm sure when the snow comes and the rain is endless, I'm like, I'm going back to LA, right?
yeah. You're
But
like, what the hell? I haven't seen the sun in 5 months. Screw this.
right, yeah, it's
Done.
like one day a year. But
Yeah.
I feel that pull. I definitely feel a pull to go home. I don't know what's going on, but maybe it's just where I am in life right now. But
Yeah.
and I wanted to get 40 years here, but then once you get to 40, you want to round it out and do 50, right? So it's like, oh shit.
Oh,
And then
it's
I'm going to
so
be really
yeah.
freaking old, like there'll be nobody left, but we'll
Good thing
see. You
about
never
Hawaii,
know.
it is a state, so
Yeah,
it would
yeah,
still count as, U.S. territory.
yeah. I mean, I
And
could
there's
go home and
boxers
come
there
back, go back
too.
and forth. Yeah, yeah,
There's
there
boxers
are.
there that need representation. I mean, it's
That's
very hard
true.
for them to even fights over there, you know, and then there's a lot of promoters that don't want to pay to fly in boxers from, you know,
from elsewhere.
when they can try to
I thought Golden Boy had a couple of Hawaiian fighters, and I actually lost track of those kids. I thought they had like 2 of them. I don't remember their names, but
oh wow.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it wouldn't be kind of nice to have some, you know, fights over there too.
Yeah,
I'm sure their fans would crave to see some combat sports.
Yeah, it's untapped territory really in Hawaii. No one really goes there, do they? It's just so expensive. It's just incredible. But yeah, we'll see what's on the horizon.
We gotta get to one of those cards in Carson.
Yeah, we want to be in one of your territory. Carson,
come on over.
Yes. We've only been to one fight out there, and that was the Wilder Fury first one, the first one. Okay. And that was amazing. We were like, oh, this is a fight town, you know.
Yeah.
That was at the Staples Center. I think they call it something else now, but SoFi.
Oh no, SoFi is the football stadium.
Oh, okay. So so we was at the Staples.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. I love. There's nothing like a big fight, you know. Nothing like one.
That's when we met Tim the first time, like in person.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all watched the fight together. His friends and my family and friends. Like we had like 2 rows.
Oh God, that's so cool.
Yeah,
he's a good guy. I like him.
He's so
he's a sweetheart. Yeah, he is. He's a good guy. Yeah, yeah, I like him.
So you had any more questions for Rachel?
Oh man, this is a pleasure to meet you, Rachel.
I told you.
I told you
enough. Oh my God.
No, we enjoyed it.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure, and the stuff you said, the Stevie Wonders and all that, man.
He's a big music guy. So you had him at cool.
You should look up my dad because he's a big jazz. Thank you, Chuck. I see your message there. Thank you, Chuck. My dad's a big jazz musician, so you should. I'll text you his name and you can look him up.
Appreciate that.
But he's in the Hall of Fame and everything. Yeah.
Cool.
I guess my last question for you would be like, what would you like for your legacy to be in? We call him British Boy. He's actually in the UK watching tonight.
Oh, he is? Oh my God, bro. It's like almost 2:00 in the morning. Rob, go to bed. Don't you have work in the morning?
Yes.
Rob,
he said he's seen Neil Diamond twice.
Send me some Battenberg cake, Rob.
He loves some boxing PlayHouse, and we love our British boy. I mean, he's a great fan.
Lovely. That's lovely.
He said he saw Neil Diamond twice, Rachel.
Oh, then he would have seen my husband. Where did you see him, Rob? Ask him where you saw him.
Where you saw him at, Rob? Neil Diamond.
Neil Diamond, where did you see him? And what year was it? That's another question, because you could have actually been there.
I know, right? Yeah.
Never know.
Rob looks young though. Rob looks young in his picture. We're all waiting on you, Rob. I'll bring some cake over. Okay, bring me some cake for sure.
Oh, Mr. I see it's taking a minute.
Oh, bless his heart.
Taking a minute. What food is it that you miss the most, Rachel? Is it that cake there?
Yeah, Battenberg cake. That's my signature cake. And I miss fish and chips, but Manchester Arena. Oh, okay, yeah. What year? I wonder what year it was. I'm 51. Oh wow, you're 51.
Yeah,
he looks young.
Yeah,
that's funny.
He's a nice one.
His high school picture up there.
No, that is his picture now. It's crazy. He's in that fountain of youth.
Oh, poor Rob.
He's in a fountain of youth. Well, my last question has to do with what would you like for your legacy to be in boxing as one of the premier females that's making her way throughout the sport?
Oh, God, that's a good question. I think that I always tell people I didn't have like a bucket list when I got into boxing, so everything I've done has been brilliant and just a bonus, right? I got a job when I didn't have a job. I got a job and made it a career. But I think that just I think doing good work while keeping my not playing to the politics of boxing and all the you know, all the little cliques that are out there. I roll solo. I do my own thing, you know. So I think it's, you know, like, yeah, I just kind of like made it happen against all the odds. And I just think that my legacy would be, if anyone is trying to do it, kind of look at the way I've done it. Don't sell your soul, you know, work hard and you'll get there in the end, type of thing. And I just want my fighters to remember me when they're older, you know. And I always tell them, you know, when you're 40, I'm going to be dead and I'm going to be gone. But I hope that they remember me and go, you know, that I made an impact on their life. I hope that people think about me and go, you know, she was all right. She was a solid girl, you know, like she was really cool. So
you are really cool. You know, like, that's like apparent just for this little time that we've had with you, you know.
And
I have to tell you, as a female trying to make my way through something in boxing, I just find it like it's so territorial with the women that are there a lot of times. You know, instead of like the men being the issue, I find that it's oftentimes some of the women that make it miserable when it doesn't have to be that way. You know?
You know what? And that happened to me when I first came in. But the one person that was absolutely brilliant to me was Jackie Callan. And that woman is
Jackie.
She is the be all and end all. It begins and ends with Jackie for me. That is it. All those other bitches out there.
Yeah.
Jackie. I don't even care at this point.
If you have Jackie on your time, you don't even need anybody else. Like,
no, you don't need anyone. You don't need anyone. And I followed Jackie Callan, and she worked her ass off so that I could do it. I've worked my ass off so you can do it. And you know what? Anyone gives you shit, fuck them all and carry on. Excuse my language, Rob, but I'm from Birmingham, so don't worry about it. He already knows I've got it in me. But no, seriously. Do not let anyone block your way. And if they block it, go around them. That's exactly what I did. I could be so further up the ladder or making more money than what I make if I'd have sold my soul. I'm not selling my soul. I don't need to do any of that because the work will get done, right? And cream always rises to the top. And I have had so many people try to hold me down, put their foot on my fucking neck. And you know what? I still made it happen. I'm the only bitch that went to freaking Saudi Arabia and came back and made history.
Absolutely.
All those other bitches are sitting there hating on me, right? They're all sitting over there going, oh, look at Rachel. Yeah,
I should do that.
Right, exactly. Don't listen to any of them, because I think I know who you're on about too. But don't even listen to them. Don't let them get in your way. Oh my God, you look at man. You're gonna unleash the beast right now.
That it is a lot of like, and then it's, you know, it's a lot of barriers for being an African American. Then I have a Southern accent because I'm from North Carolina, so I've heard that one. And then I heard I was ghetto, and I'm like, oh my God! Like when I was going to school, I used to get like pestered because all the black people thought I was too white. So now you're telling me I'm ghetto?
Yeah.
Like
fuck them all.
I just like, it's just shocking to me that the things that I hear.
No,
but because I won't sell my soul, and I will tell you the truth. If you ask me, now we got problems. You know,
that's exactly it. Yeah, that's what they would do to me. Oh, she, you know. I won't name names, but these girls, not all of them are around anymore. Most of them they're gone. They're old. They freaking look like Lucas. You're right, Lucas. Exactly. Fuck them all. But you know, like, you know, I just believe it. It might feel hard. You might think, fuck, man, I'm trying to work and get with this entity or this fighter or whatever. They're gonna come to you. You know, they're gonna come to you because they're gonna know that real is real. And all these other people, like when I would show up, they'd all be whispering. I had it like, oh, is she black? Is she Middle Eastern? Is she this? It's like, bitch, I'll kick your ass. And then when you're gonna tell the cops like a black woman beat me up, right? That's what the first thing they're gonna say, right? So there's your answer. But you know, just I used to dress even, I'd rack it up, you know, I'd be dressing really nice, and all these other chicks over here looking like fucking Burlington Coat Factory vomited all over them. And I'm just like, you know what? You stay over there with your freaking liver spots, and I'm gonna go over here and do my job, right? And that's all you gotta do. You carry on doing your job. You're truthful. You stay true to what you're doing, and you know, you wish with her at Tommy's birthday party. She managed my friend Bronco McCart. Who the hell's Bronco McCart?
Well, he was a junior middleweight champion, IBF. Winky Wright beat Bronco McCart one time. I think he was out of Michigan.
This is my historian here. He knows
I
like
think the Jackie,
factoids you wouldn't even
Thomas
believe.
yeah,
Jefferson.
Jackie
Oh
might
my
have
God.
managed Bronco because he was out of that
Oh,
Michigan.
he's talking about Jackie. He is
Jackie,
talking about
yes.
Jackie. Yeah, I thought he was talking about me.
She might have managed Bronco.
But you know, I mean, yeah, just don't let anyone get in your way, man. And you know what? It might take you a little bit longer, but so what? You're in it to win it, right? Who cares? You know,
I'm
and these
enjoying it because this is our
Yeah.
passion and we have fun wherever we go.
That's all it is. That's all you got to do. You just got to carry on carrying on.
I think they
you know,
envious of that, right? Because we look like we're having so much fun, but then
Yeah.
the work still gets done. So they're like,
that's exactly you're making it look easy, right? You're making it look easy, and you're getting it done, and you don't have to flash your tits or you know, throw your knickers off and all that other shit that everybody else is not
I
naming
mean, but
names, but they're doing it.
I try to keep my breasts under control, but they got a mind of their own. So
Hey, listen, you know, but at least you're not intentionally
try.
flopping them out, right? But honestly, it makes me so mad because there's been times that I've been up for certain situations, and you get these people that just block, and they get in the way, and they stop you from
Yes.
making money. It's
Right.
trying to make a living, and they're trying to stop.
boy.
You know what I mean? So no, absolutely freaking not. Fuck them all. You carry on doing what you're
you just
doing.
hit it on the nail. Like they doing roadblocks, and it's like, what did we ever do to you?
Exactly. That's
Like,
exactly
what?
it. Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
even said. Maybe we should have said their name. I don't know. Like it's
You know? Yeah.
it's just
It's ridiculous.
unnecessary to me.
It is. It's absolutely. It's a big playing field. Big boxing is big. There's a lot of acreage, right? And there's
Right.
plenty to go around. You don't have to be hugging your plate, you know, and all that kind of thing. And I just hate it, you know. But you know, they. I just don't. I don't deal with it. It's like, get the hell away from me. I'd rather be on my own. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all, you know. So
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents.
I'm glad I got your pep talk. I mean, I don't know how we started, but I'm glad that I had your pep talk because
you know.
I often feel like I'm like, why did we get involved in this? And now we're so deep in. It's like you don't want to just stop. Like
yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm trying to leave. I will leave boxing maybe by the end of the year. I'll keep Gore. I'll keep the fighter that I've got right now, but I'll probably get rid of everyone else, and because I want to go do motivational speaking. So that's next on my list of things to do.
Transitioning careers. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
Yeah.
Fearless.
Yeah.
That's what we were saying. Fearless.
Yeah.
I mean, because if a guy had offered to bring me to the US and I'm used to the UK, or I guess I should say backwards. If somebody is telling me they'll take me to the UK and I'm used to the US, I don't know if I could make that jump. You have to just be fearless, you know, like you just have to be like, damn it, I'm gonna give it a shot.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah.
I guess with you, that was my only jump. I went from Orlando and I moved over here to St. Pete. Okay, St. Petersburg. Like that's about it. That's as much risk as I wanted to take. Like,
oh, that's so funny. But yeah, I mean, look, man. If it's in front of you, just grab it and go. I mean, shit, you can always go home. You know what I mean? If it doesn't work out, you can always go home. It's not that big of a deal, but at least you tried it. You know, so that's the way I see it. But anyway,
why not? I'm gonna anytime I start feeling my anxiety or like I'm getting nervous around some big industry person, I'm gonna be like, you know what?
Fuck it.
I'm gonna take Rachel.
Yeah,
she would do it. She's fearless.
Yeah, you just gotta put yourself in a position where they've got to deal with you in the end. You know, they got to deal with you in the end, and that's just the way it is. You know, but it's.
Rob says he moved countries. Sometimes you got to think, what have I got to lose?
Exactly. I'm glad I did it. So.
Oh, you did. That's your story is like classic. It's a movie. And as Rob said earlier, a book, a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You do have those things coming, I'm sure.
I wrote a book. I wrote a book. I haven't published it yet. It needs a rewrite, but I did write a book. And when I go out on the road and get this motivational speaking thing going, then I just got an agent. So I'll probably be going out the beginning of the year, and I'll give the book a dust off and put it out there for everyone to read. So, But I think I've already ruined like page 53 through 56 with the Stevie Wonder story. But
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, the Stevie Wonder stories in there. Now I got to get this book.
Oh, there's so
That
much in
is
there,
amazing
but-
right there.
Oh, yeah,
Stevie,
there's a
that
lot.
little sneaky dog.
Yeah, I want to read that book.
Robbing the cradle.
Unbelievable, crazy,
Yeah,
but
you can
Rachel,
do
you
that.
think he wrote any songs with you in mind? Is there a song that he might have put out?
no, definitely not. No,
Okay.
no, no.
So you think? So you think?
Right.
Could be
Yeah,
something
he's a good
that he
man.
wrote for someone else, since he's a great songwriter as well. Like,
Right, yeah.
you dated
yeah.
an icon. What the hell, Rachel?
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Legend.
Crazy.
Tell you what, I've been
Crazy,
around a
crazy.
long time, and the only legend I got is him.
Oh, that's all you need. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely.
Well, Rachel,
But,
it's been
yeah.
so much fun talking to you tonight, and I do hope that we can have you back on again once you decide
Sure.
to really make that move as a motivational speaker. We have to hear some of those great words and inspiration that you just gave me.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna go out up and do it, but I'll definitely keep you guys posted, and we'll definitely keep in touch. And I'm always up for a chin wag. So you call me and I'll just jump on and talk shit for like an hour. Who cares?
Are you kidding me? I have to go
point.
to a fight. We have to go to a fight and meet up with you, because I'm always looking for like a real deal, true boxing girl fan. That actually loves a fight. Because my girlfriend, I try to take her and she's like, oh my God, they need to stop it. Where's the damn madness? I can't even watch anymore.
That is so funny.
And I'm like, why does she wants to support us, but like literally she's not good at it at all.
Rachel, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, I had a TV camera, a crew come around, and they were trying to do a show on me for Netflix. And one of the boys he busted his nose in sparring, and they wanted me to be like, oh my God, oh, are you okay? And I was like, I can't do that. And they were like, well, what would you normally do? I'm like, I'd normally just wipe it off with my sleeve, or like wipe the blood off their nose,
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. But yeah, so.
Yeah, in the media, we went to a bare knuckles fight, and the guy's tooth rolled out and going outside, and there was blood like just splattered all over our clothes. And I'm like, yes!
You're in the splash zone. You're in the splash zone, What were you going to say, mate?
Oh, I was going to ask you, do you manage any women fighters?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't like. That's a whole other thing. I hate women's boxing.
I
do. Oh, can't do it. You mean
the personalities? I think you some of the personalities maybe.
Oh God, don't get me started. Oh my God, but no.
This is part of our phone call after the show.
Right, yeah, exactly. I don't like women's boxing. I've never been a fan. Although I am good friends with Jane Couch, who I absolutely adore. She's from England. Great woman. I freaking love Jane. But other than that, no, can't do it. Can't do it.
Wow. I mean, it's the industry is definitely opening up more doors for females now, and for them to garner more money, the better, the more that they're known as far as, marketing and stuff. But it's still a ways to go. But I'm liking the matchups and things I'm seeing now. Like that helps a lot.
They've got 1,000,000 years to go. I mean, look, I respect anyone that wants to get punched in the face for a living, right? I really do.
For real.
But I just can't watch a woman get punched in the face. I was a battered wife, so it's like I can't do it. Just too much for me, right? But I don't think it's attractive. I don't think it's healthy, because I see what the guys go through, right? We see what happens to them after boxing, their speech and motor skills and things like that. That's just not attractive to me for a woman to be doing that. But hey, each to their own, right? But I wouldn't represent a female boxer, because I don't believe in it. I wouldn't be able to give them the best of what they should be getting. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to do it with how I feel about it. So,
and that's what I get in trouble about sometimes, is I'm a proponent for fighter safety and prevention before the boxers become, something that, or someone that needs so much additional help. Like we can be doing more to be preventive, and we're not trying to spoil the, we're not trying to spoil boxing by adopting some of these like so simple things, to me. So that fighter safety is probably what we want to bring you back for too. Like we want to talk
definitely
about
anytime. All
Wait,
right.
What about one last thing? What about midgets? Would you manage a midget?
You know what?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
You're so silly. Stop it. Stop it. Oh, that is so funny.
Little people, first of all, little people have to make money too.
Absolutely. So yes.
See, I had to
It's
clean
not a
that one
woman.
up.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But thanks a lot, guys. I had a fun time.
We
I
appreciate
hope I made sense.
Oh my
Oh,
God. What is wrong with you?
Unbelievable. Can't take them anywhere, right? Can't take them anywhere.
Yeah.
Too funny.
He's funny. All right.
Right.
We definitely adore you, and thank you so much for being a part of the show tonight.
My pleasure. That was
And I
fun.
will be calling.
Good. I know, right?
Not tonight, but I'm gonna
We'll
call.
talk offline. Absolutely.
Can't wait till the book come out too, the autobiography.
Yep. I'll make sure you get it.
Okay.
You'll be flipping the page. It's gonna be like, mark the pages. I already know this shit.
Wonder. Here we go. Chapter 8. Oh,
I'll put notations for you. But
yes.
all right, guys. Well, thank
All
you.
right.
Rachel.
Thank you so much.
See you all soon. Okay,
All right,
take
bye-bye.
care.
End the show tonight, guys, by listening to our boxing PlayHouse kid, and her name is Amiala. Oh, I can't say her name. Emiliana.
Give a shout out to everybody who liked and subscribed to Boxing Playhouse. And if you didn't like and subscribe, you're gonna get a knuckle sandwich.
Welcome to the house, the one they talking about. Word of mouth, the Boxing Playhouse, without a doubt. All the latest and greatest boxing news, that's what it's all about.